Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. I'm your official Marching Podcast announcer, David Thompson, and here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
All right, good evening and welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is September 8th, 2013, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's football season and it's time for the bands, and we are in full swing of the marching band season. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com, click on the donate button to help improve the show and help to build our scholarship fund. Tonight, we welcome the people present that will keep the conversation going today. We have D. Rashard Waters, owner and founder of Block Band Music, and we have another great crab brother of mine, Mr. Vibrant Garraway. He was on our show last year when we talked about Alabama State, so we welcome him as well tonight. And like we always say, this is an all-male panel, but any female bandheads out there are welcome to call in, participate, and be part of our show. In fact, we welcome it and look forward to it. Now, without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce those people. Rashad, do I have you on the line today?
You sure do, brother.
What's going on, man? How you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I'm trying to get in this last-minute show here. So I got you in one ear and I got A&T in the other ear.
Oh, I heard that, man. I heard that. And we also welcome Vibrant. Vibrant Garraway. What's going on, Vibrant?
Good. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Glad that you guys are on with me this evening. We also want to thank all the people that are responsible for sponsoring the show that allow us to broadcast during these peak hours. We want to go ahead and show love to those sponsors right fast, and we'll go ahead and get the conversation started for week 2. So let's go ahead and get this out the way, and let's go ahead and hear from our sponsors. Tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, Block Band Music, Bandhead.org, and Big Deal Fundraising. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is, Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. And coming this fall, HBCUbands.com. Write that down, HBCUbands.com. Attention high school directors and alumni. Does your band need to raise money to travel, buy instruments, or uniforms? Are you looking to raise money to help your band? Well, Big Deal Fundraising is rapidly becoming one of the largest distributors of fundraising products in the industry. Big Deal is based in New York City and ships anywhere in the United States, offering quality products, fast delivery, and innovative consultation that will help you meet your fundraising goals. Call today at 855-244-4430 or visit us at BigDealFundraisingUSA.com. Big Deal Fundraising, your fundraising partner for your band or music ensemble. Block Band is a minority-owned music business that you can think of as your assistant band director. We help grow your musicians with a great selection of traditional concert band music. Then we back up their performance with necessities like reeds, oil, drum heads, drumsticks, and mallets. Finally, we outfit your players in auxiliary and shoes, spats, and gloves that match our precise custom drills. Got band? If so, then Block Band's got you. Check blockbandmusic.com or call us at 919-698-2560. That's blockbandmusic.com, 919-698-2560. Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
Okay, we're back, and we're ready to go ahead and get into this band discussion. We'll go ahead and bring our panelists back on here. Okay, I got them back here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Thanks again to our sponsors to help improve our show and improve our scholarship fund. First, I want to say the winners of our last week's matchup. It's our first week one matchup for the 2013 People's Choice Marching Podcast Awards for the People's Choice, where people can go to the website and vote on our featured matchup. Last week we talked about the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and we also talked about Tennessee State and Bethune-Cookman a little bit. We didn't have that much film to go on from Bethune-Cookman and Tennessee State, but we've been watching things throughout the week. I know I've seen some things. Rashad, did you see any tape on Bethune-Cookman and Tennessee State from the previous weekend?
I did.
What'd you think?
I heard my name. I had to stop the A&T tape real quick here. I did, and honestly, man, it was a lot of hype. I was very excited about this game. I thought it was going to be one of the best games of the season. Perhaps it was the camera angle. It wasn't directly on the 50-yard line, but I mean, you deal with what you got.
Right.
I wasn't really particularly impressed with either band, and that's a disappointment to me because Bethune is definitely one of my favorite bands, as I posted recently on the 5th, and Tennessee State has recently become like in that top 3 now, and it just really seemed like they're at the beginning of the season, and that's fine. It's okay to not be perfect for your very first game, but we have just heard some other bands that sound like they are 6 and 7 games into the season already. So with that being the case, I was a little disappointed. They didn't sound bad, but you could definitely tell there's a lot of people who are still learning the music and trying to get everything together.
Right. I want to put you on the spot, Vibrant. Did you check out the Tennessee Bethune-Cookman matchup, or have you seen either band yet so far this year?
I haven't. I'm very limited now as far as who I could just sit and watch. But I have heard some other bands, but I haven't heard those two yet. Yeah,
I just thought I'd just see like where you guys were. I know like a lot of people haven't seen a lot of tape, a lot of bands. But yeah, just touching base, I think we'll be talking about Tennessee State a little bit this week in this matchup tonight. But without further ado, I'll read the results. So it was very close with 56% of the vote. Bethune-Cookman edges out Tennessee State, who only had 44% of the vote. So it was still somewhat close. I thought it was a little close myself. I've seen Bethune and I've seen Tennessee State, and not without giving too much. What we're talking about this week, I think that I agree that Bethune-Cookman was just slightly a little bit better than Tennessee State. We'll get into all of that, but definitely Bethune-Cookman with 56% of the vote wins the Week 1 matchup for the 2013 Marching Podcast People's Choice Awards. We got a couple of callers here on the line calling in. Someone from the 843 area code. Go ahead and give us your name and where you're calling from this evening.
Hey, I'm Brandon Kendall, Atlantic Regional Director, also from 8 to 5.
Oh, what's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
I really appreciate the call this evening, man. So let me see. What matchups did you check out? Have you checked out? Well, you know what? I'll ask you right fast. We just finished talking about Bethune and Tennessee State. Have you seen either of those bands this evening or this season?
Actually, no. I'm actually just getting back from the Howard Morehouse matchup. I'm actually doing my little analysis on that.
Oh, okay. Well, I really appreciate that. We got another call in. Stay because we want to talk about that. I wanted to get into all of the Week 2 matchups. Someone from the 240 area code calling in. Caller, give us your name and where you're calling from today.
Hi, this is Tyrone.
Oh, Tyrone, what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Doing all right, man. We got two of the 8 to 5 guys. Honored to have you guys on our presence today. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. You were at the Morehouse Howard game, and I think my crowd brother Troy, he kind of touched on that a little bit in our preview battle. What did you think about Morehouse? Wasn't it like the AT&T Classic or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that game. What did you think about the two bands?
Both of the bands had a good sound. I mean, honestly, like recording the game, though, it was a big change from last year from the sound. Like, there's a couple of things Miles needed to clean up in terms of their brass section, but there was both of them was bringing it in, not in terms of quality.
Okay. Now, I guess what do you think? Jumped out at you most about the game? Was there like a definite winner between the two, or was it a good battle between the two?
Well, the fifth quarter wasn't a long fifth quarter, but between the two, there wasn't no clear-cut winner.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wondered. I know that Howard, I haven't seen the tape of them this year, but I know that they were pretty clean. What I remember last year, Morehouse, they were just kind of all right from what I remember. But I was just thinking, how good was Morehouse going to be with this upcoming season?
It was an improvement from last year from the Classic. A improvement.
Okay. Has anyone else, Rashad? I guess I asked you first. Has anyone seen any tape of Morehouse or either Howard this year?
No, man, I hadn't seen that one yet. But by the end of this show, if I can find it on here.
Yeah, I definitely will be catching up. We actually got another caller. I think this is, I'm guessing this is Maurice. Caller from the 601 area code. Give us your name and where you're calling from today.
This is Maurice Bailey, man. What's going on?
What's up, Maurice, man? I thought that was you, man. We were just talking a little bit about Morehouse and Howard. Have you heard about anything from either of those bands this year?
Nope, sure haven't.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I haven't seen too much. I know it was definitely on our minds. I'm really glad that one of the 8 to 5 guys was representing there. So I got to ask you, man. I guess for who do you think overall won? Well, you know what? I'll ask you this: who won the halftime show in your opinion?
For Howard. Which particular level?
For Morehouse and Howard.
I haven't got a chance to see them at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was directing it to Chris. Chris, are you still there?
Oh, okay.
Well, in my opinion, since I was actually at the show, I'd say both bands put on a good performance, but in terms of winning the halftime, I'm going to have to give it to Howard.
Okay, what do you think about the stands? You said it wasn't that much of a fifth quarter, but do you think Howard won in the stands as well?
The stands were like 50-50 because the problem with the game is like you have all these TV timeouts where the bands were not to play it plenty of times, so you couldn't really get a clear cut.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering myself about the game just because, I was just somewhat curious myself. I was just trying to get as much information as we could. 718-664-6025. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Martian Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. We got that show out of that discussion out of the way. Most highlight games people were talking about this weekend were Florida A&M against Tennessee State. Jackson State played Alabama State. I know Troy talked about Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone. And a couple of last year's award winners were in action, and I took note of them. A lot of other bands, a lot of schools' bands are rolling in. Everybody's basically on the internet. Not everybody, but, about 90% of everybody. So people can go out there and find out, listen to their bands. As far as the analysis goes, let's go ahead and get right into some of these familiar matchups. Let's talk about the Florida A&M Tennessee State matchup. Tyrone, I ask you, have you checked out, other than from what you saw from the MEAC SWAC, have you seen FAM anymore, and have you seen Tennessee State anymore this year?
I actually just got finished watching FAM's show from yesterday.
Okay.
Via the fifth quarter. And it is definitely a slight improvement from last week. Sound-wise. Looking-wise, they pretty much on par with how FAMU usually would look, just smaller. Mm-hmm. Sound-wise, they leave a little more to desire for me. They're not as polished, but it's still early in the season, so you never know. They can turn it up later on.
Yeah, Raymond, what do you think, man? I asked you the same thing. I guess since you guys check out that FAM, have you checked out FAM or Tennessee State or that battle matchup from this week?
Yeah, I guess honestly, early in the season ourselves, I need to go still some more improvement. It's not like FAM how it was back in the day.
Mhm. What about Tennessee State? What was your analysis of Tennessee State?
I guess from the sound quality, I mean, it's wild. There's not much I can really say on that.
Yeah. Rashad, what do you think about the FAMU Tennessee State matchup?
Great. All right, so I'm going to pinpoint exactly what I hear when I hear FAMU. It's a band that's growing, and their first parts are the dominant parts right now. What you hear with the FAMU band right now is you hear a lot of first trombone. You hear a lot of first trumpet. And that's very unusual for that band because they have a very, traditionally have a very deep sound, have a lot of depth sound. So what's happening is that you don't hear as much second trombone. You don't hear as much third trombone. You don't hear as much baritone. You don't hear those middle trumpet parts. And so right now the sound is very thin. It's like the parts that are playing, those first trombones and first trumpets, they're playing their parts. But the band sounds even smaller than the number of people that are out there on the field. If they're marching, I guess, about 160 right now, they really sound like about 40 right now. And that's simply because those lower parts are not producing that sound in order to give them that thickness and richness that they've had in the past. So, FAMU, if you guys are listening, if you play third trombone, you guys need to get out there and work on those breathing exercises. You need to do some sit-ups, run around, because the band needs you guys to produce more sound in order to get a richer sound from the band.
Okay, I really appreciate that analysis. One of you guys has the computer volume up. Definitely mute your computers around. You won't be able to listen to the show while you're live on the air. But I am getting some feedback from someone's phone. Whoever's around the computer or is listening to the show, just go ahead and turn it down for me for the backup. Rashad, that's an excellent analysis because that's the main thing that I've noticed is that they sound thin and that they sound bright. And definitely that humming flavor that you usually hear in their sound is definitely missing, and it's like the confidence as well is missing. You know what I mean? What did you think about Tennessee State's analysis?
Tennessee State right now is kind of similar to they were last week, where it's still, I've heard somebody mention that like FAMU, Tennessee State has a lot of young people in the band. And so they're growing as a band right now as well. They're not quite where they were last year at the Honda. It was definitely a step down so far. I think they're going to get themselves together by the time they get to Jackson State next week. They better get themselves together by the time they get to Jackson State next week. If not, it's going to be a complete slaughter. They're doing okay, but going up against Jackson State right next week, it's time out for okay, Their sound is a little thin as well, but their arrangement style is different. Tennessee State is not known for having a lot of third trombone, a lot of that type of stuff. So really it's more so for them, it's going to be a lot of more blending more so and make sure that the parts are accurate. Tennessee State, the arranger does a lot of intricate things, and it's very important if you have your arrangements doing a lot of intricate things, you got to nail those parts, or else it's confusing to the audience. So right now, once they start nailing that music and tightening it up, I think they'll be in a much better spot right now. So right now, the best I can say is, not bad.
Okay. 718-664-6025. That's the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Still getting some of that feedback. So whoever's in the background, whoever may be something, everybody just check your levels or the computers around you. Just mute them if possible. We're still getting that feedback a little bit. Vibert, I want to ask you, man, because I know I'm saving you for that Alabama State game. But have you checked out or seen Tennessee State or Florida A&M this year?
Actually, I have seen FAMU. I've seen them. I did see the MEAC SWAC challenge, and I saw a little video footage online. I just think that the issue with FAM is that FAM tradition is just about being a big band, and they don't have that now, and I think they're actually suffering from it, because if you would notice that FAM always use the fact that they always use their size as an advantage, but with the putting the different things on the field, and like one of the guys just said about with the different parts, how they would sound and everything, and I agree, they are very thin, but I think that they're suffering now from an identity standpoint, because everything about FAM was just so huge, and the things that they could do on the field. Now they actually have the numbers where they can actually drill. And I didn't see the actual halftime this past week, but they can actually drill now and do some things that other smaller bands could do, but I haven't seen that yet. So that's just how I feel about that as far as with FAM. I haven't seen Tennessee State as of yet.
Okay, that's a really good point about FAM, because that's what I'm noticing. It's like it's definitely a lack of confidence, or there's like a lack of something missing. Definitely being suspended that year, you can definitely tell that there was a psychological hit that they took. I mean, and you're just like seeing it. Maurice, I'll ask you to wrap up this battle per se. Have you seen FAM or Tennessee State yet this year?
Yeah, I was able to see the FAMU show they just did. I didn't look at Tennessee State as far as this battle is concerned, because I know I'm going to be there live and in person, right there in front of their faces in about 7 days. The FAMU sound was, I expected it not to be as grand as it was before, because they're just getting started back up. But I will agree with Rashad. He gave a very good analysis of how they sound. That powerful trombone section that we've been used to hearing from FAMU, which I will say, as far as my analysis of FAMU all over the years, we're talking about 20 years, I've always loved their trombone section. That's my most favorite section in their whole band. They did not have that sound there. The trombone sound wasn't there. The tubas were not impressive. Not as impressive as you would expect a FAMU sousaphone section to sound. And they did not do any drills. They basically stuck to formations, and I agree with Vibert. Seems like if you go down to that many people and you have a perfect drilling number, seems like they would have incorporated more drills. But I guess, it's only so much you can do with trying to get your program back restarted from scratch. So the arrangements that they're doing are not traditional FAMU arrangements either. They did an arrangement of a gospel song they did in concert formation called Jesus Excellent. It went over well with the crowd, because the crowd was singing it, but it wasn't one of the greatest arrangements. So I can say that I'm not finna. I just can't really do FAM too bad. I'm just glad they're back in the thing, man, and doing it. And I'm sure that with time the band will probably get better, because I'm sure they're listening to clips themselves.
Yeah, that's actually a really good. All you guys had really great stuff to say about that matchup, and pretty much I agree with what everyone was saying. To me, FAM, smaller in size but still clean, and clear to the most that they can, and they're missing that bass, that true stereo sound. I thought they looked good on the field because they don't look crowded. I actually like how they look on the field. Like Viber said, they can drill now, and my thing. I'm glad you brought that up about the house, and I'll ask this question really quick before we get into our next matchup. But I personally do not like, and I hope I don't get slaughtered for this, but I do not like gospel songs pulling house. I mean, to me, I'm not trying to sound sacrilegious, but it's easy to play in front of a whole crowd full of folks playing something about Jesus. And, you know, fam, they actually went to the sideline, like right up front, so you guys can hear us, you know, and they played, you know, Jesus excellent. What do you guys, I'll go down the line here with you, Rashad. How do you feel about, like, gospel songs or, like, when bands use, like, you know, like, I guess Jesus or, like, the emotion to pull house? Do you feel that's, like, a cheap shot? What do you think, Rashad?
Joe, I didn't know you didn't like Jesus, man.
Hey, man. I'm getting off this phone.
My bad. But I mean, how do you feel about it? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that at all because, I mean, at the end of the show, if you're going to get house because of, you know, having a big girl out there or a big dude out there or playing some ghetto song, you know, I can't think of anything right now, you know, but we all know the songs that are out on the radio that are being played that are about this and that. You know, why not, you know, have the opportunity to really get some praise for God in there. And I really appreciate the bands that, you know, that do that, even. And I think you need to get back there.
Oh. What you think about it, Raymond? How you feel about it?
I mean, just like what man said. I mean, just like some bands actually have to put the big girl out there, but I don't have a problem with some of the bands actually were playing gospel just to pull house.
Okay, Vibrant, how do you feel, man?
You know what? I've never really thought about it like that. And I'm sitting here really trying to pick a side. But I mean, the only thing I can say right now is just that, you know, it's just not that serious to me. I mean, how would we really know if they play that to actually get some applause or get house for it? You know, that would be my only, you know, question about that. But I mean, I don't really know.
Okay, Tyrone, what do you think, man?
It makes me think back to my days at South Carolina State under Eddie Ellis. The concept behind it is to entertain, and your goal by using that is to reach every type of audience member out there. So if you got a gospel lover and you do that song, you're reaching out to them. So, I mean, in the end, you've accomplished your goal by doing that. It's okay. I mean,
okay.
Like you said, with the big girl going out there, it's entertaining. I don't see anything wrong with it. But if you're doing it every week, then it becomes boring. It's not like fam is doing that every week. So
right.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, and Maurice, how do you feel, man?
Personally, I don't feel that that using a different genre of music should be compared to a gimmick like using big girls or big boys. But some people look at it as a gimmick. I don't. I just think that you mentioned one word, you said emotions, that they brought up a song that plays on people's emotions. Well, some band director might play Bump and Grind in the middle of a concert tune, and it's going to arouse all type of sexual emotions from back in the 90s if it's an R. Kelly song. So what I'm trying to get to is that the genre of music that a band tends to go after should be to express that they can play all types. Fam plays all types of marches, as well as gospel, as well as the little classical. They get into it all. So in ending this, I'm going to say that if you know the constituents in your audience listen to a whole lot of Lil Wayne, you're going to play a whole lot of Lil Wayne. By that same token, a whole lot of constituents in your audience go to church. So if they go to church, then you're going to play something churchy. Anything to get the crowd into it, whatever genre it is, I believe that a band should go with it to get the house.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Those are all really good points. I really wanted to see how you guys felt about it. You know, I remember, like, years growing up, like, seeing, like, the battles maybe between Jackson State and Tennessee State, or just when, like, there's, like, a major band and you see there's, you know, it's really, really excited about what the matchup, and then you kind of see definitely, like, when a gospel song is played, or, you know, when a band makes a cross out on the field, it definitely changes the emotion of the venue or the actual battle. And I wanted to see what you guys thought about that, about if it was a cheap, like, low blow, or if it was easy to pull house. But You guys answered it really, really good about just basically just talk about it's just another genre, and I guess we play on all types of emotions that don't have to be about Jesus. So playing to where I guess the crowd is going to know those gospel tunes, it does help with the performance. So appreciate that y'all breaking me down like that. 718-664. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Jump in on that. Now, the thing I don't necessarily really like is the singing during the song. I don't have a problem with singing, but I do kind of have an issue with the fact that the band is able to get more house from something that a band doesn't really do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
oh yeah.
If your band can't get a house from playing music, you have to get a house from being a chorus. That's kind of more of an issue for me there.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree. I mean, we talked about this before. I think like last year, just singing with the band or just the whole singing element that irks me a lot. So I definitely understand you on that one, man. 718-664-6025 is the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Let's go ahead and we're let's see here at the top of the end of the hour. I'm sorry, the halfway through the hour, and I definitely want to talk to you guys about Jackson State and Alabama State. Just to wrap up FAM and Tennessee State, I think I agree with you guys, but I guess Florida A&M, listening to them in the stands, they're playing a lot of marches and showing off a lot of musicality, and I think just for right now, I thought that was the difference and maybe like what happened between the two of them in the stands. I haven't seen specifically a fifth quarter between FAM and Tennessee State, but I just seeing the tapes of the two of these schools in the stands and what I've seen from them, I think Florida A&M maybe added more musicality and played more different types of things than Tennessee State is playing right now. I think Tennessee State's kind of coasting right now. Like they had a lot of prestige from last year, and they were really good last year, but I haven't seen anything that's going to make you jump out and look at them this year. So for me, I thought that I don't know. I'm still kind of, as far as like who won between the two, I'm still kind of battling that one out a little bit. But I think Tennessee State is, like I said, I think that they're coasting a little bit. And FAM, I think it's just easy to kind of beat them right now, just because of all the elements that we talked about. I just do, man. It's
I agree.
They're down. They're down.
I agree.
And they're playing like it. Like I see it. Like you could just see, you can feel it. So maybe Tennessee State maybe edged them out slightly, but. Let's get into the Jackson State, Alabama State environment. I want to start with you being, the resident Alabama native. How did you feel about the Jackson State, Alabama State game, the halftime? Did you check out the halftime show?
I did. I ran into Maurice. Good seeing you, Maurice, yesterday. But, yeah, speaking from just being a resident of Alabama, grew up watching Alabama State, I like the direction that they're headed in. They are a lot smaller than last year. I think I was talking to somebody about their size last year. I think they were maybe like right at 300 last year. So I think maybe they were about 230. You guys can correct me on that, but I wanted to say maybe about 230 yesterday. But they size is a lot down, but they're actually sounding pretty decent to me. And that's just judging by Alabama State what they were in the early 90s, in my opinion, in the mid 90s and coming up into when I got to Jackson State. So I think they're actually headed in the right direction. They actually sounded pretty decent to me. About the halftime show, I'm just so tired of seeing the big girl thing done. I just don't know how many times can we do that. But everybody still, they still get house for it. But I'm just so tired of looking at it. But they're actually moving in the right direction. I don't think they're there yet. I don't like a lot of their arrangements. They just real sound. They're kind of like it's watered down a lot. But I was somewhat impressed, just by knowing what they were in the early 90s, mid-90s, up until now. So, I mean, I think they're moving in the right direction.
Okay. What do you think about Jackson State?
Jackson State, in my opinion, last year they were a lot smaller, but they sounded really good. I noticed that at the halftime they were. I like the marching. They sounded pretty good yesterday, and it is week 2, but they actually sounded pretty good. I spent the first half on Jackson State side, so I heard a lot of Alabama State, and I spent the third and fourth quarter on Alabama State side, and I had a chance to actually hear Jackson State. They're very powerful. The instrumentation is there. I think I counted maybe like 19 F-horns, or about the same as far as with the baritones. So they're very, very loud, and I think they sounded for the most part clean. Now, I did see the halftime show on YouTube, and it was very distorted, the one I saw, and it didn't sound too good. And I actually got into somewhat of an argument with a guy from Alabama State, and he was just saying how terrible Jackson State sounded. So, but he didn't go to the game, and I was just telling him, the video that we were looking at was very distorted. But but I think Jackson State is actually moving in the right direction too. The numbers are up, and I was kind of hoping for that. But and I think the sign was pretty decent. But like I said, it is week 2, and I'm anxious to see what they sound like next week.
Who do you think won the halftime show?
Who do I think won? I would have to give it to Jackson State. Like I said, I'm just so tired of the big girl thing, and they did do a presentation to Trayvon. Alabama State did, and I think they did that last week.
How did you feel about the Trayvon thing?
I mean, I didn't feel a certain type of way about it. I think it was a decent gesture, and they wanted to do that, and it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was disrespect, or they just did it just to get house or whatever. But like I said about the gospel songs, I don't. How can we really know the reasoning behind it? So, but I mean, it was okay with me. So, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it.
Did you get to check out any of the fifth quarter or any of the battle of them in the stands?
Well, I did check out the stand battles, and about Jackson State, their arrangements aren't there to me. Some of them are, but it's like a hit and miss. And like Joe, you can attest to this, and Maurice too, that we came, in the band when Mr. Adams was there and Magruder, and the arrangements were just a lot better. I don't like the arrangements. It's just, I mean. I don't know what it is. It's just that they're not written, right to me. It just don't sound good to me. Some of them do, but a lot of them I just wasn't impressed by. And it's the same way with Alabama State. The arrangements are just not there. But like I think overall, I would have to give it to Jackson State just for the cleanness that they had. They actually looked really good on the field as far as marching, and the show was actually entertaining to me. I think that just the energy from the beginning of the game with Jackson State started with a really high energy, and Alabama State kind of gradually got there. So I would just have to give it to State. Yeah.
Okay. Rashad, what do you think, man?
Well, yeah. Now we're talking now. Talk about Jackson State versus Alabama State, man. I will tell you, bro. I've heard somebody say something about maybe not being the best year for the MEAC right now, but I'm telling you, it's a great year for the SWAC overall. I mean, band after band. I mean, Jackson State, Alabama State, A&M, Texas Southern, Prairie View. I mean, all the bands that I've heard so far sound really good to great to best I've ever heard. I mean, it's an incredible season so far, man. As far as that battle is concerned, I'm gonna get into it a little bit. I wouldn't want to go up against Alabama State. They sound great, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're really putting out a lot of power. It's pretty clean. It's not one of my pet peeves is mellophones just blah, how mellophones do. I mean, it's like you're stepping on a duck, and I don't hear that type of stuff. The tubas sound good. I mean, it's a great sound, very exciting show from the band. I was really hyped to see it. And so it was going to be really hard for Jackson State to beat that. And you guys have heard me say Jackson State is the band for this year. So I was like, oh, my gosh, how is Jackson State going to beat them? and they did. Jackson sounded a little bit better, not much, because Alabama State was, they were just hard to beat, but they sounded a little bit better. But I think the thing that was impressive to me was the overall show was more exciting. I watched a lot of shows just before getting ready, and some shows I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then some shows I'm like yelling at the screen. I'm like, no, that's right. I'm laughing, like in Jackson State show where the yellow jacket came on the field.
Yeah.
the Hornet came on the field and started dancing around, and they brought out the 4 guys and sprayed them down. Oh, I was laughing. And then when they brought out the drum majors and had them do the dance, and then the drum majors moved out the way, and the mascot was there doing his thing, that was great. And but they didn't win because they had gimmicks. It was the little thing that pushed them over the top a little. Let me change that. They weren't great because they had gimmicks. They were great because they sounded great. But then these little itty-bitty things helped to push the show really over the top. So that, Jackson State, once again, you guys are the band to beat. No disrespect to Alabama State. I would not want to see you guys this year. I promise.
Yeah, I agree. So you think that Jackson State's halftime show was just a tad bit better than Alabama State's? What do you think about the stands? Did you get a chance to check out the fifth quarter?
I hadn't seen any of that, man. But I will mention on Trayvon, I had a chance to hear.
Yeah, that was my next question.
And from the high up view, I was like, wow, they really sound really good. Like, really good. Like you didn't hear a lot of balance problems, a lot of phrasing problems. I mean, it was a really beautiful sound that they were putting out. And that's not easy to do when you were blowing your brains out. And then you come back and tone it down. That's not easy to do. It takes a lot of control and air to do that. What else I was going to say about that? And as far as how do I feel about them doing that, I thought it was great. Once again, it was, bands have done a really good job. Our bands have done a really good job of talking to social consciousness for the black culture. This whole Trayvon Martin thing has been a big deal. When the young man at FAMU passed away, some bands did tributes to him. When President Obama was elected in 2008 and again in 2012, bands put his name on the field. So I'm very proud of our bands for stepping out and doing those type of things.
That's a good point, man. Maurice, what do you think about the analysis of Jackson State and Alabama State?
I'm almost certain I have too much to say. My analysis is way too intricate for your show, sir.
Okay.
So I've been sitting here trying to break down what exactly I'm going to pinpoint. I guess I'm going to talk about the Alabama's the fifth, not the fifth quarter, but the halftime. I don't think them using Trayvon was a bad idea. I love when bands give tribute, especially for causes such as that. It's like you can see their band staff sitting in there thinking, let's do a tribute to Trayvon since the nation is all on this. And then the last thing you think about is, well, it would be a good thing to get some house, But you kind of don't want to put yourself in a situation as a staff member to even think that. You just want to use it because you know that it's going to be something that should be done because America is so up on it. I did not feel like it was a gimmick. I felt like they had the crowd to stand up, and everybody stood up, and then they said, they did a little extra stuff like crowd stand up. Now raise your right hand in honor of Trayvon. They went a little too far. They just should have asked the crowd to stand up and give their condolences and just let it go with that. But I'm not beating down. That's not what I'm beating down. I'm glad they put that in their show because they were going to need that in order to come against what Jackson State was going to put out there. I felt like they had a pretty good sound. Their drills actually look way better. Viper was talking about how they looked in the early 90s, and I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care if they're disrespected or not, the tapes are out there, and if you don't have them, Tape Master and a couple of these older guys, I can put you in touch with them. Alabama State cleaned up from 92 all the way through 98 was complete trash. 98 was the first time they ever got a huge number of people as far as recruitment, and that's when they got better. I can truly say that Alabama State I saw yesterday was a better-sounding band than any of my years in Jackson State.
Yeah.
They had a
I agree.
The only section that was that was probably I guess you could say the starry section, in my opinion, was the baritone section. They were very, very inconsistent. But every other section was pretty good. The next section that was probably next in inconsistency would probably have been the trumpets. But as far as everybody else, man, they had a very clean sound. Anybody that say Alabama State didn't sound good yesterday is an idiot, a musical idiot. Okay, so dealing with them and the field show, I think I don't think their arrangements are the best, but there were some arrangements that they had better than Jackson State. They did not get much house as far as the dance routine is concerned. Of course, all of us are sick of the big girls, so they could never, Alabama State can never ever pull the don't do gimmicks on us rap, because they've always been doing that same gimmick. So let's get over on the Jackson State side. Let's just say energy. Dow Taylor has brought back one thing that kind of fell off with Jackson State, and that is energy. Those guys had a lot of energy out there, and I agree with Rashad. I mean, Jackson State put a show down there that really made you kind of like be okay, and I don't get excited watching Jackson State anymore. I don't, because I'm such a big critic of them, plus I'm a Marston fan. But I will say this, one of the reasons why the SWAC has so many good bands, and I don't think a lot of people are looking at this, is because all these bands are young. That's the way to go now. The way to go is to get you a lot of freshmen and keep your sophomores from the previous year and try to put as much energy out there and get those young guys to really go out there and do a good job. Jackson State's band is consistent of a whole bunch of 18 and 19-year-old people, a very, very young band.
Wow.
All of these SWAC bands basically have young bands simply because I don't know what the mentality is. But the mentality nowadays is like if you have an upperclassmen band, the guys that are older are lazy. They don't want to come to practice. They don't want to play as much. They think they've arrived. But that's a whole other different story there. The Jackson State show was very, very good and put together. It was precise. I had some issue with one of the older arrangements. They played nice by nice on the field. The drums and the tubas were playing a rhythm that's not in the arrangement. Which a lot of people give me flack, Rashad, because even though I went to Jackson State, they talk about it. Maurice, don't say the bad stuff. No, I'm going to say the good and the bad stuff. You don't mess up an arrangement like Nights by Nights, something that's been in the book for 30 years. You just don't do that. So Jackson State does have a few flaws there to talk about. But overall, the show was really put together pretty good. I like the fact they put the fat guys out there. They did get more house issue than the big girls did. Moving on, trying to wrap it up, so I'm sorry. Moving on to the fifth. The fifth was pretty good. You only had one section during the whole battle that actually played as far as section battle, and that was the trombones. And as much as I loved SOP, Alabama State's trombone section sounded hella good. I mean, I was very impressed. They actually whooped SOP. A lot of my friends that's on here are going to probably be mad. They be mad all they want to. I honor what those guys did at that game. They worked, and they just came out on top. As far as the fifth was concerned, they both had pretty good songs. Jackson State had a few up-to-date songs they put out there, a few songs we haven't heard in a while. Jackson State also drilled to a song called System of Survival that they haven't done since 1988. And it sounded really good. Hey, go figure. As far as I guess Alabama State has some good things going in the fifth, but I guess if I had to name somebody who won the fifth, it would probably be Jackson State. They had a pretty good sound. You can tell they've been working on their cleanliness. When they first started off, they were a little sloppy, but they've been really working on their cleanliness. As far as the sections in Jackson State's band, the section that's really, really pulling the band through would probably be their trombone section, and then next, you got your baritones there. I think to piggyback on what Barbara was saying about the arrangements, we'll never be able to expect the arrangements of this Jackson State band to be better than what Paul Adams and Magruder put out. It'll never happen. But I will say this, and I don't know if the other people in this group will agree with me. Every single band is going for that one unison setup sound. It's like every person that's writing songs now is trying to find that tonic and trying to find out a way that they can put that unison line across there, and sometimes put the baritones on some type of divisi part to make sure that it's the most powerful thing ever. And I think that everybody has fed into that, and I call that a Southernized sound. When I say Southernized, I do mean Southern University. Yeah. I think that everybody's trying to put that type of a feel into their arrangements, and so it's kind of like we're all paying tribute in the SWAC to the way Southern has sounded for years. I don't like it. I don't exactly just appreciate it, but I think what's going on now with those arrangements is people are not so much as caring about the finesse as much as they are caring about having that unison sound so that so that it sounds Southernized.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, man. Really good analysis as well. I was thinking about that same type of powerful sound. I immediately think about Miles and like Talladega College. Like that's that power, that you like, oh my God. Like when you think about Southern, you're seeing that now in more other bands, and then a lot of them too, is they're smaller, where they're coming out with a lot much more power now because of these arrangements. We got the 2 8 to 5 guys next. Raymond, what did you think? Did you get a chance to check out Jackson State and the Alabama State matchup?
See, not yet. I haven't got a chance to check those two schools out yet.
Okay. What about you, Tyrone? Are you still there? Yeah, Tyrone's still there.
I'm still here.
What did you think about Jackson State, Alabama State?
I just got finished watching both halftime shows. To me, Jackson State does have a better entertaining show. Sound-wise, two different sounds to me. I noticed Alabama State has changed their sound from last year to this year. It's not as edgy as it was last year when I saw them at MEAC SWAC. But like you said, it's very powerful. That's one of the things I do tip my hat off to them for, is being consistent as far as that. But Jackson is just they're amazing this year to me. As far as the difference between last year and this year, and I think both bands in the directions that they're going in, they're heading to a good direction. Just stylistically different.
That's outstanding. I mean, I pretty much agree everything with what you said. It was pretty close to me, my analysis from what I saw Jackson State, Alabama. They were coming with it. Alabama State was. I always liked them because they had that SWAC type of sound where it was like that massive, the tubas, that power. But definitely it was cleaned up a little bit better. You can tell the difference in the band directors, I think, and maybe just a tradition or whatever. But Jackson State, was just a little bit more accurate, and that's why I gave them the edge in the stands. Also, Alabama State played, I think, Take Me to the King, I believe, and they tried to do too much with the dynamics to me. Like they played the beginning of the song really, really soft. And I mean, the tape that I heard and watched, you barely even heard them playing anything. And I was like, okay, well, there's pianissimo and I don't even hear anything of what y'all doing. I thought that they went too far with the dynamics on that song, and I felt they kind of hurt them just because the battle was so close up until that point. But I thought that they took an L with that one. And then I agree with you guys, the same thing with the actual halftime show. I guess I'm changing over. I'm seeing you guys' point about the emotions. I don't necessarily like when it's just easy to be like look what that was so nice. Oh, that's so right. Oh, let's stand up for that. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see you try to kill me with your skill. And that's just me. But I understand what you guys are saying as far as touching with the social issues and like being like, hey, we're being aware of things going on. So with that, it's. Oh yeah, go ahead. Was that Maurice?
I just wanted to say that Rashad said something very important earlier. He said something about the band singing. And that's the arrangement that Alabama State played of Take Me to the King was actually not a horrible arrangement. And they did try to finesse and do what they could to do. I'm standing right in front of their band, so I can see what you mean by the beginning being probably too low. But they sang the middle of that song, and they put it in 3-part harmony. At some point, they even had a baritone voice. So they worked on the singing the song, and I agree with Rashawn 100%. This is a marching band. This is not a choir competition. So I have a problem, with somebody who would get there and would sing better than they would play the doggone song as instrumentalists. Now, the last thing I want to say is that I respected them for having a good sound gospel song. Jackson State fails in that area every year. They never have that genre of music because, and I'm going to say at that point, really poked them in that battle with me, and they really poked them. So because Jackson State played Holy Grail that. What? Yeah. God bless them. Can you get? I mean, it just goes to show you. It just goes to show you that Jackson State, is doing a great job, but it's still they still got room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? They need to get up on other genres of music also. Yeah, it's not just the marches, but you need to get up on stuff that somebody's gonna play on you. Because TSU this coming week, TSU gonna blow a real good gospel song, and they're not gonna have nothing to play back. I'm sorry, that's all I had to say. I talk too much.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a really good point as far as just having the the range, just like, Jackson State plays marches, band plays marches, and they talk about the range of the music that they play. Like, we can play marches, we can play everything. Having good gospel probably needs to be in your repertoire as well. Just so, like you said, you can have something to play back. But, like you said, I'm sure it's a lot of folks there at the, would appreciate if Jackson State would play that. We never played anything even remotely close to that when I was there. Viber and Maurice will definitely know. I think the closest thing we played out of our spectrum was Over the Rainbow. Do y'all remember we played that?
Yeah, we played a gospel song. You probably don't remember that. The band actually played it again. They just put it back out in the book. We played Lord Bless You and Keep You, and we sang it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well yeah. Okay. I remember that.
Remember?
Okay, I remember that. I think it was our first year. Yeah, I think it was 97. What'd you say, Bob?
We played Stomp by Kirk Franklin.
Oh, we did play that.
We did.
I'm tripping.
So we had Lord Bless You, Keep You, and Stomp. And we did sing Lord Bless You, Keep You. I mean, we did. But
that's right.
Bring the whole band down. So Joe doesn't like Jesus. So he's like, no, it's not just me. It's Jackson State doesn't like Jesus. That's what he's trying to say. And said, no, man, Jackson State loves Jesus. It's just Jesus.
We love Jesus when I was in the band. We did Lord Bless You and Keep You almost after every game. They just don't remember.
Whole bunch of heathens over there now.
I can't. I forgot both of them songs.
Jesus in the name of the school. Come on, guys.
I know, my bad. I sure remember that. Okay, bad. My bad. Yeah, I appreciate that, Vibrant, man, because I think Mr. Adams wrote that song. He had a real hard run in that song somewhere. Yeah, so, okay, that's all coming back to me now, so I appreciate that. We're going to take this last commercial break just to play our sponsors this one last time. It's a 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. And then we'll be on to wrap up the show and do all the rest of the housekeeping things. So we'll go ahead and hear from our sponsors one last time before we wrap up the show.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. Block Band is a minority-owned music business that you can think of as your assistant band director. We help grow your musicians with a great selection of traditional concert band music. Then we back up their performance with necessities like reeds, oil, drum heads, drumsticks, and mallets. Finally, we outfit your players and auxiliary in shoes, spats, and gloves that match our precise custom drills. Got band? If so, then Block Band's got you. Check blockbandmusic.com or call us at 919-698-2560. That's blockbandmusic.com, 919-698-2560. Attention high school directors and alumni. Does your band need to raise money to travel, buy instruments, or uniforms? Are you looking to raise money to help your band? Well, Big Deal Fundraising is rapidly becoming one of the largest distributors of fundraising products in the industry. Big Deal is based in New York City and ships anywhere in the United States, offering quality products, fast delivery, and innovative consultation that will help you meet your fundraising goals. Call today at 855-244-4430 or visit us at BigDealFundraisingUSA.com. Big Deal Fundraising, your fundraising partner for your band or music ensemble. What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. And coming this fall, HBCUbands.com. Write that down, HBCUbands.com.
Okay, we're back. 718-664-6025. This is the Marching Podcast, bringing you the 90 Degree Show. Also brought to you by Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. We're going to let the guys give their parting shots out here to end the show. I just wanted to touch on one more band before we sign off, and I won't be that long. I didn't know if any of the guys checked it out, but I checked out the Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone competition, or battle, band, whatever you want to call it. My crab brother Troy last in the preview show brought up Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone, and mostly because Livingstone was surprising to all of us last year. I'll throw this out to you guys right fast, but Livingstone might be the bomb again this year. I saw them, and from their first note, start like that, end like that, as they always say, their first note of their halftime show grabbed me, you know. I like what they're doing with their drill, and it's similar to something that I've noticed, like, you know, a couple of these North Carolina bands are doing, but because their band is not as big, they're not doing these big kaleidoscope type of drills. They're still marching, but it seems like they're also incorporating a little like heel toe in their formation, and the formations are not like intricate or anything, but they stay close together just because the band being small. So they were doing that, and I couldn't tell how precise that Livingstone was, but they sound good again, man. They don't have that much high brass on points I feel they should shine. But the horns and B-tones, they're cranking. And I really like what the band director is doing. Smith looks good in 2013. They still have that same sound, you know, but it's not as bad as traditionally what I've heard. I mean, it's still not much high brass, and you know, since I'm a trumpet player, I'm biased with that. But, you know, the middle brass still carries this band. They drill just like Livingstone, like with the half cork, heel toe type of thing. And it was a good drill selection. But I think Livingstone, you know, they crunk on them for the halftime show. They had a lot of energy being small little Livingstone. Has anyone checked out Livingstone this year? Because I know they were kind of surprised to everyone last year. Has anyone checked them out in 2013?
Nope. Yeah, man. I was watching that too at the beginning of the show.
Okay. What you think about Livingstone?
I think they sound decent. I wasn't as impressed as I was with them, 2 years ago. I guess, you got to keep setting the bar higher. It's like, okay, wow, you guys, I'm coming into it with like an expectation. It's like, okay, you guys are a little bit, and it's going to blow me away. I didn't really get it this time. I think they're a better than average band right now. Once again, don't sleep on them, I would say. But they don't sound too bad. I do want to give some props to Johnson C. Smith, though. I'm sure they would appreciate the fact that, your little compliment there about the fact that they don't sound as bad as they traditionally sound. He's like, thanks a lot. But they actually sound pretty good. And my only thing with Johnson C. Smith was their endurance. You notice a lot of things where the baritones will go up for some high notes at the beginning that sounded good, but as the show progressed, a lot of that stuff kind of went, what the heck, And of course, Livingstone didn't really have that issue. But both bands, sounded pretty good.
Yeah, and a shout out to Johnson C. Smith, Vibert, and Maurice. You guys have to check it out. They play Get Ready. So you guys have to check it out. I mean, yes, they play Get Ready. And I've actually talked to other people, and Smith has a little small, IIOS page on Facebook. And I've met 3 other students that actually left Johnson C. Smith and transferred to Jackson State. That was surprising to me because, of course, I only know about myself and Chris Jones. But actually 3 more people have actually left Smith and went to Jackson State. And it's funny now to see a tape of them playing Get Ready there at Charlotte Memorial Stadium. But they played it in their 0 quarter. There was a little battle between them and Livingstone. There's tape of it on the 5th quarter. You guys can check it out. But it's like, wow, to see Johnson C. Smith playing that. It's a trip. It's just a trip to me just to even see that. I'm going to let you guys give your parting shots as we wrap out the show. Vibrant, I'll go ahead and let you start first, man. And I really appreciate your time because I know we're past 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock for the East Coast. But, Vibrant, go ahead and if you have any parting shots, man, go ahead and give us things. But I'll go ahead and let you. But you tell me what. I'll tell you this. Tell me who you're looking forward to hearing from, or any other games that you're looking forward to hearing from this year.
I'll probably do the Magic City Classic, the Alabama State and Alabama A&M. I really like that classic game. It's an Alabama thing. A lot of people just don't understand it, but I'll probably do that game. After hearing Southern on a few videos and seeing Jackson State yesterday, I think I might try to make that game in Baton Rouge. So just those 2 right now are on my list. But it was really good talking with you guys. I'm hopefully Joe will invite me back for the Magic City game. And so, like I said, it was really good seeing Maurice yesterday. It was really good talking to Joe today and talking to you other guys. And hope to talk to you guys again.
I appreciate it, CB, man. We'll definitely be hearing from you in the future. Tyrone, I really appreciate your time as well today, man. Any news or anything we should be looking for from the 8 to 5 guys, or anything on the radar coming up?
Couple games next weekend. Plan to be at the Savannah State, Fort Valley.
Nice.
State game. Get a chance to see 2 of the lesser-known bands on the East Coast go at it, as well as coming up in a few weeks on October the 5th, the Atlanta Classic, South Carolina State versus North Carolina A&T. That's one I'm definitely excited to see. A&T is looking pretty good this year.
I was just about to ask you that. Have you seen them? They do look good, man.
I'm excited. Being a Bulldog and a Marching 101, I probably get slaughtered by everybody as you were saying it, but I'm sorry. I'm starting to like A&T a little bit. And then the new direction that they're going in. I mean, they're sounding good. So,
Did you get a chance to see them against Appalachian State this past weekend?
I did see a little bit of their show, and I'm starting to like the concept that they're trying to portray with the theme of shows and different elements that they're trying to incorporate. With HBCU style.
Yeah, man, that's why I picked them as the best halftime show last year for Marching Podcast Award Show. But yeah, man, they follow a theme and they follow it the whole halftime show, and they didn't even dance. For App State, they went out there and they were like, hey, we'll go ahead and We'll even the level for you. We ain't got to dance, you know. And they sounded great. It was a great show. So I appreciate that too, Tyrone. Raymond, I appreciate you calling. You know, you're always welcome to call in. Always appreciate the 8 to 5 guys and what you guys are doing. I'll give you the time here. Anything else we're looking forward to hear from the 8 to 5 guys, or anything that you're looking forward to in this upcoming season?
I guess one game I'm actually looking forward to is actually traveling out to Baton Rouge myself too for 8 to 5. So I definitely check out the game for the Boombox coming up on the 28th. Yeah. So
that's outstanding. We'll definitely be doing that. Maurice, what's on the radar from you, man, and some games you're looking forward to hearing from in the future?
Southern Heritage Classic, man. I'll be there this weekend. Jackson State, Tennessee State. It should be pretty good. TSU is trying to this year. That's going to be a great battle. And Baton Rouge, I plan to be down there to see what this Southern JSU battle is going to be like down there. Those are the two I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm sure that those will be the featured matchups on the show for those days, and definitely we'll be doing the Magic City Classic with Vibert. So, Rashad, I'll let you be the last one, man. Anything hearing from Block Band Music or anything that you're looking forward to in the future this year?
Well, what I'm looking forward to in the future this year is just this season, man. I'm telling you, bro, it is a year of pride for show style bands. There's been a time when we would talk to the core style guys and say, well, you know, we play hype music. You know, yeah, we might not sound like you guys, but, you know, we play hype music. But that time seems to be coming to an end. Because if you listen to Alabama A&M, you listen to Jackson State, you listen to Alabama State, and my Lord, you listen to A&T. You hear some bands that sound fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like, these bands sound awesome, and they still put it in your face, and they still play hype music, man. I'm glad that you mentioned A&T, because that show, just like the one I was telling you with Jackson State, I was yelling at the computer screen, you know. As a matter of fact, I was watching right when the show was starting. I don't know if you heard me. I was like, oh, man. I tried to keep myself quiet. But they were sounding, somebody posted up on the field something about, I think, Alabama State, is this what came to your stadium? And it was Alabama A&M or State, I don't remember which one, but it was Troy State that came and played, and they sounded fantastic, like, wow. But then to hear A&T sound very, very similar to Troy State, that same type of, we've got power, but yet it's in tune. You know, we've got power, but yet we can play with phrasing. It's like, okay, that's so different than how A&T used to be. They've always had power, but they're 180 degrees different, man. I'm really excited about this season. I'm excited about the Boombox. I think that's going to be awesome. But I just want to see how it unfolds, because I want to see, and I also want to see other bands that I don't know about that are doing some things. I haven't seen Hampton this year. I just haven't seen a lot of bands. I haven't seen everybody. So Howard, you know, I want to see what these bands are doing. And I'm also excited to see the bands like Bethune-Cookman and Tennessee State, the ones that I was very excited, like, okay, you guys are going to throw down. I'm waiting for them to mature a little bit in the season and to see them halfway through the season and see what's going to happen there. Same thing with South Carolina State. Can't wait to see one.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all of your time, and I appreciate, you know, the great analysis. I think that was a really good show. We had a lot of good discussion. We got a couple of points addressed, and we talked about a couple of things, and also just really, really appreciate everyone, all the guys that call, and just all you guys that I've contacted to be a part of the show, and you're taking your time out on your Sunday when good football season has started, and you guys are calling in, so I really appreciate it. That's all the time we have for the show tonight. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening, and remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.